Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michele, mom of 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. All right, friends, welcome back today. If you have ever said, I know sugar isn't helping me, but I just cannot stop eating it, you are not alone. Today, I'm going to be unpacking why sugar feels so powerful so we can sort of understand what's going on in our body. And I'm also going to give you one of my favorite tools so that you can start to take back control without going into an all or nothing mindset. So first, I want to dive into a little bit of the science behind sugar cravings and what's going on in our bodies biochemically when we're having sugar cravings. So when we eat sugar lights up our brain's reward pathway, our dopamine. So we get that feel-good feeling when we eat it. Now, that feel-good feeling doesn't always stay there. But when we eat it, we get a hit of dopamine and we feel good. So that keeps us coming back for more because our body wants more and more dopamine. And we can really get stuck in that path. We also have what I call the blood sugar roller coaster that happens. So when we have a blood sugar spike, maybe that's because we ate sugar or we ate high glycemic foods, like highly processed foods that spike our blood sugar just as much as sugar can. And then it comes down, our blood sugar comes down, we have that crash. And when our blood sugar is low, our body knows that if we eat carbs or sugar, those get into our bloodstream faster. So we have that craving again. So we have that spike, crash, and craving. Also, sometimes as we get after 40, when our hormones are changing, our estrogen, progesterone, and sometimes we become more insulin resistant, our cravings can also feel stronger too. There's also signs where gut bacteria, when the bacteria in our gut changes, depending how that is, that can make us crave sugar more too. So we have all these different things that are going on, that can go on in our body, that can make us crave sugar. So sometimes it's not just a willpower or it's just not a tool. We have to understand what's going on in our bodies so that we're not blaming it we're just not motivated enough. I'm just not good at this. When we're having these dopamine response or these blood sugar crashes, our hormones are changing or our gut bacteria is off. So we have all of that stuff going on. And we also have the emotional side of sugar too. So some of us use sugar as comfort when we're feeling stressed or tired. It's just a stress relief. Sometimes we use sugar as a reward, maybe because we've had a hard day and we think I deserve this. So there's this emotional connection with it too. It can also be habitual and tied into our routines. So maybe I know I have this afternoon slump and I get a coffee with sugar in it. Or I just know after dinner, we're going to have a treat. Or I know if I'm bored, I can go grab a treat. That will give me a little boost of energy and I'll feel better. So not only can we have those biochemical things going on, we have this whole emotional side of sugar too. And the food industry knows this. And they market food, they engineer food to help feed into this. But when we become aware of it, we can step into something different. So for years and years, a long time ago, I pretty much had ice cream every night. And so it was more of this ritual, routine thing that I would do. And I also know that sometimes I would have it if I was stressed out or different things like that. It felt like there is no way I can stop eating ice cream. But now I'm at the point where I hardly ever eat ice cream. So I just want to say that because sometimes it feels like we can't change something or that we can't not eat this one thing that really isn't serving our body well. And that's where it comes into our mindset. So maybe you need to wrap around your mindset that this is something you can have less of or give up if that is what is beneficial for your body. We recently, just this weekend, I went to sort of like a fast casual restaurant with my sister and husband. And I am gluten-free, and this restaurant has like gluten-free brownies and cookies. But I was looking at them, and it's like, I just really don't have a desire for getting sugar anymore. And it was sort of that thing where it would feel like, oh, I can like treat myself. Like we're going out, my sister's in town visiting, we can have some fun, but it's like, I don't really need that. I don't crave that anymore. And I know it's not great for my body. And that's really where coaching comes in and being able to do the different mindset work so you can get to a point like that. And it doesn't just happen overnight, or there's not just one thing that changes it. But when you really start to work on your emotions, what's going on, getting intentional, working on your mindset, you can start to shift some of these things that feel like they're not going to shift. So as you guys know, I work with women over 40 who are tired of the all or nothing dieting, the guilt, the ups and downs, not staying consistent. And I want to help you find a way that works for you in your real life. So that's why I offer free calls where we can talk. We can just chat, see what's going on, see if we're fit, figure out how to help you stay consistent without doing diets or quick fixes, just practical tools that can help you lose weight and sustain that weight loss. So if that's you and you're feeling stuck and you're not making progress, I encourage you to use the link below in this podcast to set up a free call with me. There's no pressure on this call. And I encourage you, especially if you're someone who has thought about doing this, is to do it. Sometimes we have like that anxiety, or how is this call going to go? What's going to happen? And we don't even take those steps that we need to get to where we are. So I encourage you, take a deep breath if that's you, and think about what you really need for your health. All right, the next piece. So now that we've talked sort of about the biochemical, what's going on in our body with the sugar cravings, that emotional side of sugar cravings, I want to talk about urges and desires. So urges are simply a sensation in our body. It's like you have this urge, it's a sensation in your body that makes you want to reach for that. It might be tension, restlessness, tightness, or buzzing. It can feel different. And having a desire isn't a bad thing. That's part of being human. We should have a desire for food, and that's okay. The problem is that when we believe we must act on every urge or desire that we have. Like having a desire to have a cookie isn't necessarily a bad thing. Imagine if you hadn't had food and that was there, that would be a good desire. And it may not even be bad if we have a desire for a cookie and have one every once in a while. But when we act on that urge and that desire every time we have it, or more than what our body needs, then that's not great. So keep in mind, the desire or the urge isn't bad. It is thinking that we must act and we just give in to every urge or desire. And if we do that, where we give into that urge or desire, we know we didn't need it and our body doesn't feel great, it is not helpful at all to shame ourselves or to feel bad about it. We have to know how to move on in a healthy way after slip-ups, because otherwise we get into that all or nothing, where it's like, well, now I ate this cookie. It just like does not matter. I'm eating whatever I want for the rest of the weekend. And that is just not true. So when we can know how to move on from these little slip-ups and not feel bad, then we can start to have freedom so we don't go in those spirals. So this tool I'm going to teach you is a tool I call it my self-coaching system. And in this course, I teach about mindset, emotions, urges, how to set up goals and intentions. So really more the mindset piece of weight loss and getting healthy. So I'm going to share this one tool with you, but there's definitely way more in the course. I'll share a link down below so you can check it out. In the course, I have a handout with a nice little picture too. So let's say that you are having a craving for sugar. So maybe it's your normal like 3 o'clock slump in the afternoon. You're feeling tired. It's sort of been stressful and you just habitually grab a cookie. And you just don't really have the willpower to fight it. So you typically just give in each day, even though it's something you don't want to do. But I want you to think of a wave. A wave comes to a peak, and then it passes. I also want you to think of an emotion you've had in the past. Maybe that is feeling anxious or sad. And that feeling comes, it has a peak, and then it passes. Right? None of us have had a feeling that has stayed with us 100% not go away. Feelings come, they peak, and then they start to go down, and then they pass. Whenever we're in a feeling, which is like a sensation in our body, it does not feel like it's going to pass sometimes, but it always does. So we have to remind ourselves of that. This feeling, this urge, this desire, it's like a wave, it's going to peak, and then it's going to pass. So we're back to our 3 o'clock sugar craving. Normally we just reach for this cookie. What can we do instead? We can just pause. And this is huge because we have to break up this habitual pattern. So we have to do something different. So we could pause. There's different things people can do here. And when we're doing this, I call it urge surfing, we're not just like pushing, we're not just fighting that urge or that desire or pushing it away. We're going to allow it to be there. Because remember, like I said before, that desire urge is not necessarily a bad thing. We just don't necessarily want to act on it. So we can pause. We don't have to think about pushing it away. We can sit in whatever that feels like in our body. So some people will do well with just like sitting and noticing what it feels like in your body to have this urge or desire and not act on it. It's going to feel uncomfortable. And I have not met anybody who cannot handle feeling uncomfortable. We all think we can't sometimes, or it's, like if we're at the Mexican restaurant and they put chips in front of us, but we know our meal is going to be plenty, it feels really uncomfortable to sit there. And we have to remind ourselves that we can tolerate something uncomfortable. We always want to make sure that uncomfortable thing is something that's good or healthy for us, right? We don't want to do something uncomfortable that is not good for us. So we can evaluate that. But sitting before chips when I know I have a meal coming and not eating them is a safe thing. So I can sit and feel uncomfortable in that. So we want to do this pause before acting. So in that pause, deep breathing is always such a great one because it gets our prefrontal cortex, that's like our cognitive, our higher thinking part of our brain back online. We could grab a drink of water. We could wait 5 minutes. We could pray. But we have to create a pause and do something that sort of calms our nervous system. You could then get curious, what does my body actually need right now? Or what do I need to tell myself? What is the truth here? I'm safe. I'm actually not hungry. I don't need food right now. This will pass. And sometimes using that image of a wave can help too. So you can picture a wave peaking and then passing. You can check in with your hunger, your emotions. Are you tired? Like maybe you're actually hungry and maybe you would do better with a protein snack or something else. So it's really important that you create this pause before acting and then get curious, like what's going on? We don't have to like solve that problem, but a little curiosity can really help. And now I'm going to give you guys like a real quick few other things just to check on if you're having sugar cravings. I'm not going to go into too much depth about them. So one thing you want to do is make sure that you're having steady blood sugar. And I mentioned this earlier, but so really balancing your meals, making sure you're having protein, fiber, healthy fats. When we tend to eat a lot of carbs or carbs alone, it can spike our blood sugar, which means it's going to crash too. Making sure that you're getting enough sleep, because when we're not getting enough sleep and cortisol is spiking, that can also drive cravings. Also, surround yourself with people who support you and try to have your environment as much as you can. We can't always control it, especially at work or parties, that really support you and your journey that you're on. And so our house is definitely one way that we can start to control our environment and what food we bring in. And also maybe something like doing daily check-ins with yourself that are not judgmental or shaming, but just curious, and checking in can also help. So remember that cravings don't make you weak, or they don't mean you are weak. Sugar eating it isn't a moral failing. And when you start to understand some of the science of how it works, when you start to tap into what's going on emotionally and in my mindset, and you can put that pause in, and you can start to take back your power when it comes to sugar. So I encourage you, if this episode hit home or something clicked with you, share this episode with a friend. It's always great when we can share information with our friends or our family around us, and we sort of have those same talking points, and it helps us to be on the same page and helps us to really encourage each other when we're on that same journey. So feel free to share, friends. Hope you guys keep on moving this week, and make sure to tune in next week.